Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good evening, ma'am. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all. What brings you here at this hour? You look concerned.
Yes, actually, there's been an issue in the hostel. Last night, and even tonight, the electricity suddenly went off around 11 p.m. At the same time, the internet connection also stopped working. It lasted for almost an hour. Many students were either studying for exams or working on assignments, and it caused a lot of inconvenience.
I see. Thank you for reporting this. Was the outage limited to your floor, or did the whole building experience it?
As far as I know, the entire block was affected. I checked with my roommate and also messaged some friends in other rooms, and they all said the same. Without power, even the Wi-Fi routers were down.
That does sound serious. Did you inform the duty guard or anyone in the office last night?
Yes, I spoke to the guard. He said he wasn't sure of the reason and advised us to wait until morning. But by then the supply had already returned.
Understood. This isn't the first time I've heard of such outages, but the timing during late hours makes it more concerning. Students need electricity and internet access for their academic work. Let's try to figure out possible causes and solutions together.
What does the repeated timing of the outage suggest about the issue? What can be inferred about the duty guard's role in emergencies? What does the student's verification with peers indicate about his approach? You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
Thank you, ma'am. Honestly, most of us thought it might be scheduled load shedding, but no prior notice was given. If it was maintenance, shouldn't we have been informed in advance?
You're right. Normally, if there's planned maintenance, the electricity department sends us a circular. I haven't received any such notice. That makes me think it could be an unexpected technical fault.
The problem is the outages happen exactly when we need light and internet the most, during our study hours. Last night, some students couldn't submit their online assignments before the deadline because the Wi-Fi was down.
That's unfortunate. University deadlines are strict. I'll definitely raise this issue with the administration. Did the students try using backup options like mobile data?
A few did, but the mobile network is weak inside the hostel, and not everyone has enough data. Also, the lights going out created discomfort. Some students had to use torch apps on their phones.
I understand. Losing power and internet at the same time can make the environment unsafe, too, especially for students who may be moving around the corridors.
Exactly. Some students even felt anxious. Since it's happening repeatedly, we're worried it might continue during the exam week. That would be disastrous.
You've made valid points. Safety, academic work, and student well-being are all at stake. Let's think about how to address this systematically.
What does the absence of prior notice mainly suggest?
Why were students' study routines affected most? What does the use of torch apps subtly indicate about the environment?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
Here's what we can do. First, I'll contact the campus maintenance department tomorrow morning to check if this is a supply issue from the electricity board or an internal wiring problem in the hostel.
That would help a lot. Is there any chance we could have a backup generator for emergencies?
Yes, there is one, but it's currently connected to the mess and security posts. I'll request the administration to extend its coverage to the student rooms, at least for lights and Wi-Fi routers during outages.
That would make a huge difference. Even basic lighting and internet would be enough during emergencies.
In the meantime, I'll also ask the electrician to inspect the wiring. Sometimes local faults or overloads can trigger power trips. As for the internet, I'll contact the service provider and ensure we have a hotline for quick resolution.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of all the students, I really appreciate your quick response. Should we also submit a written complaint to make the request stronger?
That's a good idea. If you and a few classmates draft a letter with signatures, I can forward it formally to the administration.
We'll do that by tomorrow. Hopefully, these steps will prevent further disruptions.
Absolutely. Together, we'll make sure students get reliable electricity and internet at night. Thank you for raising the issue responsibly.
And thank you for listening patiently, ma'am.
What does the students' gratitude suggest about their expectations?
What does the plan to extend the generator imply about priorities?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good morning, Robert. I've been waiting for your delivery since last week, but nothing has arrived. What's going on with the stock?
Morning, James. Yes, I know about the delay, and I sincerely apologize. The truck carrying your goods broke down on the way, and it took longer than expected to arrange another vehicle.
That's unfortunate, Robert, but you know weekends are my busiest days. Customers came in asking for products, especially the new packaged snacks, and I had to tell them it's out of stock. That doesn't look good for my shop.
I completely understand, James. Believe me, I'm not happy either. I value our business relationship. The issue was with the logistics company. They didn't manage the situation well.
Still, it affects me directly. I've been running James General Store for over 12 years now, and delays like this can push customers to competitors. Yesterday, Mrs. Angela, one of my regular customers, went to another shop just because I didn't have the snacks her children like.
I get your concern. To make it up to you, I'll give you a small discount on this order. Plus, I'll add a few extra cartons of biscuits free of charge.
A discount helps, Robert, but reliability matters more. This isn't the first time my delivery has been late. Last month, too, the dairy products came 2 days late, and I had to throw away what little stock I had left because it expired.
You're right, James. I admit these repeated delays are not acceptable. I've already spoken with another transport provider, Bright Logistics. From the next delivery onwards, I'll ensure your goods are shipped with them. They have a better track record.
That's good to hear. Customers like Mr. David and Mrs. Clara trust me because I usually keep everything on time. If I fail to meet their expectations, they'll stop visiting my shop.
Absolutely. Let me assure you, James, I don't want to lose your trust either. The stock is already loaded and will be at your shop by tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Please make sure of it, Robert. If it doesn't arrive again, I'll have no choice but to look for another supplier.
I understand, James. You'll have the goods by 9 a.m. sharp, and I'll personally follow up with the driver.
All right. I'm trusting your word this time. Please don't disappoint me.
You won't be disappointed. Thanks for your patience, James, and once again, my apologies for the inconvenience.
Very well, Robert. Let's hope tomorrow goes smoothly.
Why does James emphasize that weekends are his busiest days? What does Robert imply when he blames the logistics company? Why does James mention Mrs. Angela by name? How does Robert attempt to repair the damage? What concern does James raise about repeated delays?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good morning, Laura. Have you noticed how dark our street gets during the evenings? The recent power outages are making it even worse.
Yes, David, it's becoming quite unsafe, especially for the children walking back from school. I almost tripped last night near the corner.
That's exactly my concern. I was thinking we should talk to the local council about installing proper streetlights.
I agree. Do you know how many lights we would need?
I counted. If we place one at every corner, around 6 streetlights should cover our street properly.
That sounds reasonable. Should we also mention the type of lights? LED ones are brighter and more energy efficient.
Good idea. I'll include that in the proposal. I also found out that the council sometimes offers partial funding for energy-efficient lights.
Perfect. Maybe we can start by collecting signatures from our neighbors to show the council that the entire community supports this.
Absolutely. I can prepare a small petition form, and you can help collect signatures.
Sure, I'll talk to Mr. and Mrs. Thompson and a few others. If everyone agrees, it will strengthen our request.
Once we have signatures, we can submit the proposal, along with a request for the council to visit our street and assess the situation.
Should we also mention the safety benefits in the proposal? For example, reducing accidents and discouraging thefts.
Definitely. That will make our case stronger. I'll draft the letter this weekend and we can review it together.
Sounds good. Let's aim to submit it early next week so the council can consider it during their monthly meeting.
Great! I'm glad we're taking action. Proper street lighting will make a big difference for everyone in the neighborhood.
I agree. It's always better to act together than wait for something bad to happen.
Exactly. I'll get started on the draft and keep you updated.
Thanks, David. I appreciate your initiative.
Why does David propose contacting the council? What role does community support play in their plan?
What strategic advantage do David and Laura seek by requesting a council visit?
What is a subtle reason for including safety benefits in the proposal? How do David and Laura view collective action versus waiting?
What broader implications of better lighting are implied beyond safety?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
In a dramatic turn of events, a team of rescuers successfully freed 12 miners who were trapped underground for more than 48 hours following a sudden cave-in at the Silverstone mine on Monday afternoon. Authorities confirmed that all the miners are now safe and receiving medical attention. The incident occurred at approximately 2:30 p.m. when a section of the mine collapsed due to unstable rock formations, leaving the workers stranded over 1,000 feet below the surface. Rescue operations began immediately, with emergency crews and local authorities mobilizing to provide support. According to the mine manager, the trapped miners remained calm under the guidance of safety protocols, conserving energy and communicating with rescuers through a specially installed emergency phone line. "We were in constant contact with them, assuring them that help was on the way," said the lead rescue officer. "Their courage and cooperation played a major role in the successful operation." Specialized equipment, including drilling machines and air supply units, was deployed to reach the miners safely. After hours of careful excavation and risk assessment, the rescue team managed to open a safe passage and evacuate the miners one by one. Emergency medical staff were stationed at the site to provide immediate care for exhaustion, dehydration, and minor injuries. Local residents and family members of the miners gathered near the mine, anxiously awaiting news. Their relief was palpable as the first miner emerged, smiling and waving at the crowd. Officials praised the teamwork and dedication of the rescue personnel, calling the operation a model example of bravery, coordination, and technical expertise. Authorities have launched a thorough investigation to determine the cause of the cave-in and ensure such accidents are prevented in the future. Meanwhile, the miners are expected to make a full recovery, and the community celebrated their safe return.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's panel discussion. Our topic is the impact of Greta Thunberg's climate strikes on youth activism worldwide. Ethan, let's start with you. How do you see the role of young people in environmental movements today, especially after Greta's efforts?
Thank you, Olivia. I believe Greta Thunberg has really ignited a global movement. Young people are no longer just passive observers. They are taking action and demanding accountability from leaders. We've seen student strikes in over 150 countries, which is remarkable. These protests show that youth voices can influence policy, shape public opinion, and even encourage cultural shifts toward environmental responsibility. It's inspiring because it proves that age is not a barrier to creating change.
That's very true. Ava, in your opinion, is this surge in activism something temporary, or do you think it will continue to grow over time?
I genuinely believe it will continue, Olivia. One reason is the connectivity among young activists today. Social media allows them to organize, share knowledge, and amplify their messages globally. The younger generation is also more educated about climate issues. They understand scientific data, policy discussions, and practical solutions. Small local actions, like promoting recycling programs or pushing for sustainable practices in schools and communities, also create a larger ripple effect. Greta's strikes were more than just a series of protests. They became a symbol that youth voices truly matter.
Absolutely, Ava. And it's not just about protests anymore. Many young people are forming NGOs, working with researchers, and even launching innovative environmental projects. This shows that modern activism includes hands-on solutions, not just awareness campaigns.
Ethan, do you think there are challenges that young activists face while doing this work?
Definitely. Balancing activism with school, family responsibilities, and personal life can be tough. Young activists often face criticism from adults who may question their knowledge or commitment. There's also the risk of burnout if they don't have proper support. Long-term engagement requires guidance, encouragement, and access to resources.
That's a good point. Thankfully, support networks are growing. Schools are incorporating climate education into their curriculum, and experienced activists and scientists are mentoring students. These measures empower youth and help sustain their motivation over time.
Excellent insights. In conclusion, Greta Thunberg's strikes have sparked a global movement that goes beyond protests. It's about education, innovation, and sustained advocacy. Thank you, Ethan and Ava, for sharing your perspectives.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you, Olivia.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
The construction of the Panama Canal in the early 20th century is often considered one of the most significant engineering feats in modern history. Supporters of the project argue that the canal drastically transformed global trade by creating a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Before its construction, ships had to navigate the lengthy and treacherous route around the southern tip of South America, adding weeks to travel time. Proponents claim that the canal not only reduced travel time, but also lowered transportation costs, allowing goods to reach international markets faster and more efficiently. Many also highlight the strategic economic advantages, as nations could expand trade routes, strengthen international relations, and stimulate global commerce. On the other hand, some critics emphasize the human and environmental costs associated with the canal's construction. Thousands of workers, including many from the Caribbean and other regions, faced harsh working conditions, disease, and high mortality rates. Environmentalists point out that altering the natural landscape of Panama had long-lasting effects on local ecosystems, including the displacement of communities and changes in water flow and wildlife habitats. Additionally, some argue that while the canal boosted trade for powerful nations, it often reinforced unequal economic relationships, benefiting industrialized countries more than developing ones. Economists and historians also note that the Panama Canal reshaped shipping patterns and influenced global trade policies. Shipping companies quickly adapted to the new route, optimizing cargo sizes and schedules to maximize efficiency. Ports in both the Atlantic and Pacific regions saw increased activity, leading to regional economic growth. Moreover, the canal encouraged international cooperation and investment, as its construction involved complex engineering, diplomacy, and financial planning across multiple nations. The perspectives on the Panama Canal reflect a balance between remarkable human achievement and the social and environmental challenges it created. While it undeniably accelerated global trade, the costs and impacts of its construction continued to be discussed by experts and historians alike.
Visit celpipmocktest.com for authentic Celpip mock tests and see the difference in your performance.